All right, race fans, welcome to our opening round of the Monticello Esports Challenge, coming to you live right now from Watkins, Glen International in the beautiful Finger Lakes. We've got an exciting race tonight with MX5 Cup cars. The crowd is on fire. Look at the people standing on the fence line. Ticket sales have been amazing, and we've got a great race set up for you tonight. In the booth, we've got, as always, my trusty co-host Demetro Crawford, also running the camera angles, the drone, doing all of the production, and we have a guest commentator tonight, lead instructor Jason Lair, who will be doing all of the instructor commentating. I'm sure he's got lots of spicy comments for this instructor staff that's out on track tonight. Jason, welcome to the stream.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Look at that. We got an M4 pace car now. The guys are gridded up right now. Dimitri, you got those qualifying results. Are we ready to roll off here?
I think we are ready to roll. Yeah, the BMW M2, I think it is,
Oh,
now
yeah.
for
That is an
the
M2
pace car.
CSR.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
absolutely mega. It's just a beautiful bit of kit. But yeah, let's walk through our qualifying grid and take a look at what we have here. I'll let you run through it, Derek.
Yeah, so on the pole, out of nowhere, Nick Del Campo, Monticello instructor, putting it on the pole in the solid black car, outside front row. In the 007 red MX5 is Andrew Corapi. Next row, second row, side by side, two Monticello instructors starting off. Brian Hedian inside row 2 and Peter Bank outside row 2. Hedian, you'll see him with the signature green wheels, the S2000 MX5 Special. Peter Bank outside second row. Then we've got a couple of great competitors from the club, a couple of members, Eric Paterno and Sean McAuliffe, making up row number 3. And the car's rolling off for their formation lap. We've also got the signature Dunkin' Donuts car of Paul Barthelms and also Zach Ehrlich in the green and white machine. We've got some instructors back in the pack. You got Trenton Walco in the traditional Buc-ee's car. Ian Barthelm's here tonight, Jordan Klein, Manny Tartaglione out of Road Racing Entertainment. We've got so many great members and a bunch of great instructors. Todd Ratura's here tonight, Zach Rosenberg here tonight. We've got an exciting night of racing coming to you live from Watkins Glen. They're out on the formation lap, and we are about to go green in mere moments.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a super exciting race. Honestly, feels like a massive throwback to last season where we actually got to start the first ever Monticello Esports Challenge here at Watkins Glen. So it's really cool to be back here for the first race once more. It almost feels like home for some of these drivers. You know, also being that this track is in New York, a lot of these members and instructors have driven this track time and time again. So a lot of these members and instructors are super familiar with this track.
Yeah, they really are, both in real life. I mean, I myself, I know Lair's got a parking space out front with his name on it. I think he spends so much time up in the Finger Lakes. We've all raced there in real life several times, raced there on the sim. The bus stop is going to be exciting. Every bit of this track is a historic layout, Formula One. They've run NASCAR here, sports cars, everybody who's anybody from Phil Hill all the way up to Jason Lair has run this track. And I think tonight is going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what Trent Walco can do back there from the number 9 spot. We're on board here now with I believe, are we on board? This is the pole sitter inside right now, right? This is Nick DeCampo.
Yeah, spot on. This is the pole sitter, Nick Del Campo, coming in with an absolute flyer during qualifying and almost just seems like he was so fresh and ready out the gate, super calm and composed on each of those qualifying laps that he did. And it all paid off, leading us to the green flag.
Yeah, he's very talented behind the wheel here, both in real life as well as on the sim. I'm also really looking forward to, we've got I don't know. We've got Jack Klepchik's still in the pit. I don't know if Klepchik's going to be running tonight or not, but we're about to take the green flag. A lot of these guys have a lot of MX5 experience in real life. I'm just excited to see how they handle this track tonight. This is going to be a quality field, quality racing here as we make the final turn onto the straightaway, about to take the green flag.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to see. I know a lot of these drivers have a little flame in their stomach. They're ready to go and they're ready to race hard as the pace car ducks in and we're about to go green.
Yep, Dyke Henson throws that M2 into the pits, and we are about to go green. Brian Hedian looking to make a move early, and we are green flag racing. There's Zach Ehrlich moving up on the outside, and big bump on Sean McAuliffe right off the bat.
Oh, and I think that's Brian backwards in the background.
Ow. Yeah, oh man, carnage in turn 1.
Brian,
wow. We'll have to get the camera back there.
Yeah, Brian just cannot catch a break when it comes to Watkins Glen. Last year, involved in incidents in both races, and he was telling me, "Hey, I'm ready to get P1 in this race, and things aren't looking too hot off the bat."
Paterno, however, Paterno with a great start, racing down to the bus stop. It's 3 wide between, and look at there. Oh, and Paterno takes a lick and is, oh man, wow, tough break for Paterno.
Wow, that was some intense contact between Andrew Corpy and Eric Paterno. It looks like they were just getting so close, and I think Eric may have turned in too early. It's hard to tell from our perspective, but man, we might have to go take a look back at that one as well.
I don't know. It looked to me like Andrew had his elbows out. What do you think, Jason? What did you think about that move there that put Paterno in the wall right at the entry to the bus stop? They're thinking about unmuting his microphone. You know, I remember my first time. You know I love you, Jason. As the guys come back around, they're coming up out of the boot now, looking for the end of lap number 1. Corpy on front, and Del Campo right up in his chimney. What do you think about this first lap, Jason?
You know what? I'll tell you what. Like, you know, you can lose everything about racing in the first lap. So you might want to dial it back a little bit. Get your head right. Stay focused.
Hey, to finish first, you must first finish, right?
Right.
Oh, is that a back marker that got involved in some contact there?
I thought, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that was. I thought for a second it was Peterson. Look at Del Campo tucked up, getting a toe down that long straightaway at the front of Watkins Glen as they tuck it in for turn number 1. Del Campo just right where he wants to be. Looking really good there in second place.
And this is the place where you want to get the run. Coming into the bus stop, you can get side by side, and on the inside, it's anyone's game. As we saw side by side with Eric Paterno, you know, sometimes it will result in a little bit of carnage, but if you're able to get the move right, you'll definitely be in front going into that long right-hander.
Yeah, this is some great camera work. I tell you what, the guys on the camera truck always doing a great job providing us some really great coverage, drone coverage, camera angles, in-car, all the cameras working tonight, and really got an exciting night of racing here ahead of us.
Absolutely. And it looks like Corpy has really got some great defense.
Yeah, he does. And I think Del Campo is content right now with where he's at as well. These two guys kind of gap in the field just a little bit. You can see Sean McAuliffe back there in third place, followed up by that beautiful Pabst Blue Ribbon car. And then there's the always ever-present Trent Walco, always a threat, already moved up from 9th place up to 5th. But he's getting a run there from Zach Ehrlich as they come up out of the boot and head to the final complex of turns.
Yeah, Trent Walco was surprised.
Around.
Oh, yeah, Zach Ehrlich getting around Trent Walco. I was surprised to see him down in 9th place. I mean, you know, from last season, Trent has a lot of pace. And even during our preseason race, we were able to see that. But I think Trent may have just woken up from a nap. So I think he's still getting the brain cells going here. So it's interesting to see him down in P6, but hopefully wakes up a little bit and we'll see some good racing out of him.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. We've still got a lot of racing ahead of us tonight. These 2 feature races just clicking off the laps right now. We're about 4 minutes into this. Oh wow.
Massive
McAuliffe
impact.
in the wall hard.
Massive crash here.
Wow.
Off of the last corner.
absolute yard sale with McAuliffe and Ehrlich. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, well, if anyone needs parts for their Miata in the final corner, you might be able to find some. Yeah, absolutely massive incident, and somehow Trent Walko able to get away from that unscathed.
Trent Walco doing Trent Walco things.
Well,
Lots of cars on the pit lane, and there's Trent all alone moving up into 4th place.
man, well, Trent going from P6 to P4 with not much work. Bet he's feeling pretty good about himself right now. Just straight up behind Peter Bank. Good to see him again, and I think Peter's got his work cut out for him. Hopefully, he's not looking in his mirrors too much.
Well, this harkens back to that exhibition race we had at Indy just a few weeks ago. It was Trent was tracking Peter Bank for most of both of those races. Peter is no stranger to pressure, though. He's very poised racer on track as well as in the sim. So I don't think he's going to be shaken up by Trent, but Trent is awfully quick around this layout.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Peter Bank's one of those drivers that's just uber consistent. He's just able to put in those laps and not doesn't worry too much about any pressures that are put on him. It almost feels like he's just constantly driving under no pressure. And that's one thing I love to watch when watching Peter. It's just that consistency over and over again. But with a guy like Trent Walker behind you, man, that's just a level of pressure that even the best can get a little carried away. So hopefully we'll see Peter keep that composure throughout this race. I mean, we've still got plenty of time left.
Jason, I got a question for you. I know you're no stranger to Pabst Blue Ribbon or Bucky's. If you think both of these guys, they have their merchandise trailers out front. Which one of you, which merchandise trailer is getting more action right now? The Pabst Blue Ribbon trailer of Peter Bank or the Bucky's trailer flaunting the Trenton Walco merchandise? Who do you think is selling more trucker hats on this race day at Watkins Glen?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm all about the Buckies.
Yeah.
You can't thank them enough, and they got everything you ever want. They've got everything you ever need. So you just roll in, get what you want, get what you need,
I agree.
move on
I
with your
agree.
life. All right.
Do you need a nightstand? Do you need a bathing suit? Do you need some beef jerky? Whatever
Yeah.
you need, Bucky's has got it.
Yes. Yep. They got campers, RVs, their
Smokers.
Airbnbs, whatever you want, whatever you need. You know, just move
Look at
on.
Barthelms. Look at Barthelms making a move in the bus stop, getting around Ponzini. If he can make it stick, Ponzini with a little bump there as they exit the bus stop. The Dunkin' Donuts car looking good early in this race.
It looks like we got a really good race heading down into the boot. That Dunkin' Donuts car is hot right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hooked up, man.
And Ian
It's hooked up.
Bartholomew headed down the
Ponzini.
inside there.
Yep. Yeah, these Barthelms guys, they are competitors, man. They show up week in and week out. They do the work. Also, shout out to my favorite spectator, Melissa Barthelms, just picked up a sweet green M3. It's been the hit of my Instagram all week long. Congratulations to Melissa on the sweet new M3. I love that color. Man, the racing's good, members are good, instructors are good. It's just a great day to be affiliated with Monticello. We got the esports race going on here, and we are almost to the halfway point of the first race.
Too good. Yeah, no, the Paul and Ian Barthelm's last race we saw during the pre-race back in Indy was they were just on one, just killing it lap after lap, race after race, and able to both just tap into their strengths and just make the most of it. Really great stuff from them.
Here's Ian. Ian's got his nose inside and makes a clean pass around Paul. Paul had his elbows out. He was using every single inch of the track, left to right, white line to white line, but it's not going to be enough as Ian gets the line, and Ponzini just hooked up with Ian's bumper, trying to also get through. They're trying to muscle their way around that Dunkin' Donuts car as they head up to the bus stop. It is going to be exciting. Let's see how these guys, 4 cars, are going to handle this bus stop.
Ooh, what a weird place to
Big
be
on
for
the
Ian
brakes here.
Barthelms. Able to make it
Ooh,
work
boy.
though. Wow.
Ian makes it work. Paul makes it work. And all four of the drivers are through clean.
Man, I was a little concerned there. It kind of looked like Paul was taking no prisoners. He was gonna, just turn in no matter what. I know Paul's a little bit of an aggressive driver, and that's what just makes him so, so, so good. Is because everyone understands that he's gonna drive real quick, and if you're in his way, he's not gonna slow down for you. And as you can see right here, look at that, Paul Barthelm's making it look like he's just driving around Ian. It's just incredible stuff.
Yeah, these are evenly matched spec cars, man. And Ian got around him, and then Paul really just came right back at him. Excellent racecraft there by both the Barthelms. Checo Perez would be proud.
Absolutely. And Ian looks like he's falling back a little bit. I think he's just slightly getting out of his stride, even though I gotta say, absolute killer paint job on that Miata. Just tons of Pokemon. Let's take a look around the grid, heading back a bit. Let's take a look at Brian Hedian, involved in that contact early on, and so was Eric Paterno just behind him. So Eric Paterno and Brian Hedian not having the best of races at this moment, but it seems like they both got out of pit lane at about the same time. So I think
Yep.
at this point they're taking this time to practice and get the laps in so they can come back into Heat 2 just ready to go and hopefully can stay out of some trouble.
Yeah, they're running 16 and 17 right now. And Paterno has been very interested in Brian Hedian's line and his particular racecraft at this layout. So I believe Paterno is finally getting some real world notes from Brian as Brian makes his way around this track. Paterno's really keen to take note of how Hedian gets around so quick. I think you're 100% right, Dimitro. Paterno is sizing him up for race 2 right now.
Absolutely. And they were talking about this earlier in the Discord. Eric Paterno was asking maybe for a few tips around the track, asking how certain drivers were driving some of the corners. So this is his time to, as you were saying, take those notes and really jot down how these drivers are approaching the circuit and able to take notes from there. Man, there's still tons of action in this mid-pack race here.
Yeah, Morgan Duffy out there. Morgan Duffy out there in car number 19. He's running 11th, but Duffy right there is putting in some pretty good laps. Good to see him out here. Also, you got Ron Trinka out here. You got George Poulos. Lots of members making waves out there. I think the second race is going to be even better. We've got about 7 minutes to go in this race. I think there's a lot of guys getting ready to make some waves in race number 2. There's Ron Trinka right there in that pretty cool monster livery there with the water on the front of it. It's a pretty cool looking car.
Yeah, definitely super cool looking. And yeah, I completely agree with you there. I mean, look, we were talking about before the race that I think some of the cobwebs still need to be dusted off when it comes to the series, given that it is the first race of the season, the first official race of the season. Also, the fact that we're driving with 26 cars on track. I mean, look, I get it. The Miata's a small car, but when you're driving around 26 other people, anything can happen, right? So I think a lot of these drivers
Sure.
just getting back into the flow of that racecraft, being surrounded by so many drivers, and sometimes that first race, you just got tons and tons and tons of butterflies in your stomach, and sometimes you just got to wiggle it out.
Jason, what do you think, man? These guys have been, it's been a couple months since the club closed down, and these guys have not been really driving too. I mean, some of these guys have been at Sebring, some of these guys have been at Carolina Motorsports Park, but this being the first esports race this season, how long do you think it's going to take for these guys to get into top form?
Well, it's a matter of just being disciplined and staying focused and understanding the respective discipline that you're in. In simulation, it's one thing, but in the real world, it's another thing. However, it's a complete uh, goal. Like, you wanna achieve the best that you can at that time and frame, and keep digging at what you're doing. So I want to see these guys put together a really good clean race, stay focused, and hope that they get to where they want to be at the end.
I was thinking, I know you're a big fan of Peter Bank. I fully expect you to say Peter Bank is top form right out of the box, day one at all times. He's never not top form. And he's still fighting off Trent Walco here. Look at Walco up in his chimney. Walco just painting that bumper.
Well, I'm hoping that Trent throws it in there. Just
Give it,
toss
gonna
it in
give
there.
He's going to
Good.
give Peter something to think about here in a few more laps, I think.
Yeah, just let him. Yeah, hell yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go. Do it for Dale.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One thing I definitely find especially when watching Trent is, he's a driver with a lot of pace, and he's just somebody he's just fast. He's incredibly fast. But one thing about Trent is he's also an incredibly respectful driver. He's not gonna make the crazy dive down the inside, and he's a very calm and calculated driver when it comes to his style as a whole. As you can see here, I think there's plenty of times where I'm pretty sure I would have made a pass on Peter Bank. Would it have been the best idea? Probably not, but that's aside from the point. And we see Trent taking the time, trying to force a mistake out of Peter rather than, well, I guess, how do you put this lightly? Putting him in the wall. So
Sure.
yeah, we love to see that. Oh,
Yeah,
and as
Trent
I
is.
was saying right there,
And look at that. Trent gets exactly what he wanted. Peter Bank, a little over rotation, a little hopes and dreams there for Peter, and Trent Walco standing by to take advantage in the classic Trent Walco style. Peter Bank around and loses the spot to Trent.
I think Peter's gonna be pretty upset with the fact that I caught that on video. Let's take a look further back again.
While talking about the pressure that Trent Walco is dishing out.
The commentator's curse strikes again. Nicholas Ponzini. I mean, this driver, when we talk about consistent, he is consistent. Looks like he got involved in a little bit of an incident at the beginning of the race, but able to keep it together. I mean, P7, even after an incident, being three spots up from quali, not a bad place to be for him right now.
Yeah, 3 minutes to go in this race. We're going to be looking at the white flag here in just a second. Race number 1 is going to be in the books before you know it. Been really good. Those Barthelms kids, man, running 5 and 6. Andrew out front since lap number 1. He wasn't on the pole, but he took the lead. Look at that rotation too, man. He is really good placement of the car there by Andrew. Nick Del Campo has not been able to get around him. Let's see if Del Campo is going to have anything for him. Del
Yeah,
Campo trying to get a run as they head to the bus stop.
having the
And I think
inside there is
maybe,
big.
wow, commentators curse, man. It's like we speak it and it happens. How about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're on white flag, and there's part of me that thinks that Andrew Corpy may be doing this out of strategy, trying
Sure.
to not have, not be in front, especially on that long, long, long back straight for that last lap.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, being the last lap, sometimes that last lap move just comes out of desperation, and then all of a sudden now both of you guys are in the barrier. So maybe he wants to have a little more control of that situation. But I think that may not be the best move, just given the fact that Nick Del Campo is a really, really, really good driver.
Well, I believe we're 2 minutes to go, so I think we're going to be white flag next time by. And we'll see if Andrew's strategy here of maybe getting a tow and getting a little slingshot off the draft, maybe it'll work. I don't know. I think you're right. I think he's trying to set something up here on purpose, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. That's why the crowd is on its feet. Trucker hats are just flying off the shelves. Nick Del Campo running that sponsorless car. He's trying to get a deal with Tide, trying to get a deal with Folgers. He wants to get that Tim Richmond livery going, but so far no money coming through. Nick Del Campo could really use a good showing here for a sponsorship for the rest of the season. We'll see if he can hold on to P1 for about another lap and a half.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We have a lot of really great liveries out here, and I was hoping that our leader would have the best livery of them all. But hopefully, in next round, Nick Del Campo can come out with some absolutely stunning liveries. But till then, maybe it's for the slipstream. Maybe the all black car is a smoother car through the air.
Right. Maybe the lack of decals. Though every sticker adds 5 horsepower. So I don't know. What do you think, Jason? Would you go with the Tim Richmond Classic Special, or would you go with the all black murdered out look? What's the livery you prefer on these MX5 cars as we look at these guys headed to the bus stop for the final time? Look at this. Look at this. Into the bus stop, throwing it over the curb, just eating every bit of that curb. Look at the run Del Campo got off of that as they head down into the boot.
That was a killer run from Nick Del Campo. That was probably the fastest I've seen anyone drive that bus stop today.
I don't think Andrew's going to have the stuff unless Del Campo makes a mistake. I just don't think this strategy is going to work. I think he's given up the spot to Del Campo, and Del Campo is going to hang on to it.
Absolutely.
Kid's got really sharp elbows.
Yeah, it looks
We'll
like
see soon enough.
Yeah, as long as Del Campo keeps his composure, which I believe that he will, this race is pretty much in the bag for him. But you know what? Anything can happen, as we saw with Peter Bank. I want to give him a special shout out for that spin. You never know. You truly never know.
Grant Walko up to third, Peter Bank in fourth, the Barthelms kid, Paul in the Dunkin' Donuts car running fifth, Ian in the Pokemon car running sixth. You got Ponzini and Alex Schneider running behind it. Tim McChurch just made a move. Tim just got around trying to fight to stay in the top 10. Jordan Klein, Ron Trinka, everybody fighting for points in the top 10 right now. El Campo taking all the pavement as he goes through the final corner, looking for the checkered flag this time by.
Brilliant.
Andrew Corpy led every lap except the laps that counted. And that is the checkers flag right there. Nick Del Campo wins from pole. Peter Bank crosses the line in fourth. Trenton finishes out the podium in P3.
Yeah, and Paul Barthelms leading that group, that mid-pack race that we were watching.
I think Ian might have had a problem back there.
Oh,
Ian didn't come across the
no.
Ian
Ian
registered protest.
Ian looks as though maybe the driver's side rear broke at the end there. His car is not driving very straight. And across the line, he goes into 10th place, not probably where he wanted to finish up there at the end. Sean McAuliffe coming through the last 2 corners. Very unfortunate 6 places down from qualifying, but luckily there is a second heat. So hopefully able to turn that around. Tim McChurch, let's talk about this. 11 spots up from qualifying.
Right, and that guy, Tim McChurch, didn't do any practice yesterday, didn't even know he was racing until today, comes off the bench and turns in a fantastic showing. In fact, finishing ahead of Brian Hedian, who basically got Tim in the race today. So that's an excellent result for Tim McChurch out of the Monticello stable of cars. And there comes Paterno across the line in 16th.
A spectacular finish there. Going through turn 1, Manto Taglione in 17th, followed by
Alex Snyder across
Chris
the line.
Peterson and Jason Cohen racing all the way to the line for 18th and 19th, respectively.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
Truly great stuff. Well, we had ourselves quite the race there. I mean, wow. There was a lot going on there, I must say.
If you want to be fast like these guys, you might consider coming out to the club. Monticello Motor Club, we have our first 3-day race school at the end of April, running into the 1st of May. Be sure to call your account executive and get a seat in that first race school of the season happening right at the end of April. We'd love to see you out there. Brian and Jason and I will all be out there. And we would love to have you guys out for our first race school.
Wind me up, put me down, stop me up and watch me go.
All right, here we go. Back at the Glen. Del Campo pacing the field up here behind that BMW M2 pace car. Coming off the last corner here. We are looking for the green flag. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody's on their feet. Del Campo is set to take the green, and it looks like we are going to get a good green flag. Here we go, folks. On their feet. This is it. Good start by Del Campo. A little bit defensive here as we make our way into turn number 1. Del Campo way out front here. Big pile up. We got something going on in the back of the field here. Del Campo going up into the S's here, clicking them off left and right, back and forth, grabbing through the gearbox here as we make our way down the back straightaway, heading towards the bus stop. Here we go, Derek.
Wow, that was quite the start. I think there was a lot of commotion going on there.
Carnage in turn 1. Trent Walco on the roof. Hedian, though. Hedian gets through clean for the first time this season. And Hedian inside Peter Bank down in the grass, trying to make that pass stick. And I think he will do it. Hedian with a run. Good job for Brian. Brian needs a good run in this race.
That was a absolutely gnarly move by Brian Hedian to just dive right into the grass on Peter Bank. And, I mean, it seems though it's paid off. He's in between P4 and P6. I can't really tell right this second. Looks like he's
He's
stuck
right there behind Sean McAuliffe.
behind Sean McAuliffe, yeah.
We need to call down to the camera truck. We need a replay on this start. Sean McAuliffe's off the power. He is dropping back through the field. I want to see an overhead of what happened in turn 1 if I could see that.
Yeah, let's take a look and see what has just conspired. I think that this was an absolute free-for-all. It's just cars everywhere, upside down. Who is that in the number 90 car?
Manny T. There's, Zach Ehrlich, Trent Walco, lots, Paterno, just lots of quality racers. Just absolute carnage in that first turn. And your pole sitter for the second race in a row, Nick Del Campo, taking advantage. And don't look now, but Paul Barthelms in the Dunkin' Donuts car gets around Peter Bank. And now Barthelms trying to hunt down P1.
Yeah, I think Paul Barthelms is somebody to watch out in this race. He was putting in insanely quick laps the last heat and was slowly just getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And at this point, I mean, if I was Nick Del Campo, I'd be a little nervous. I wouldn't feel like, all that weight off, all that pressure off of me just because there's a massive crash behind me. Because now you got the fastest, the fastest. Well, we'll see if he's the fastest. But America runs on Duncan car behind him.
Right, you are, Dimitro. The Duncan car is coming off the carousel here, kind of clicking it off a little bit quicker than Del Campo here, making our way into the boot. Let's keep our eye on this up front running here.
Take a look,
Jason Lair.
Yeah.
Look, that is Hedian getting around Jordan Klein right there. Jason, I was just going to ask, quick point of order. Does America run on Duncan or does America run on Pabst Blue Ribbon? I'm not sure. I'm asking for a friend.
Well, I'm a big Pabst Blue Ribbon fan, but you know what? At 6 a.m. in the morning, man, I'm all for the Duncan. Let's go.
I hear you. Look at Hedian making the stick around, it makes the pass around Jordan Klein. Hedian looking to start reeling in the leaders. He's back in 4th place, and he's got his eyes on that Pabst Blue Ribbon. Look at that BHR, Brian Hedian Racing livery. That car looks great, and he wants to close the gap on that Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR car.
Well, let's ask his S2000 if that car looks great. I don't know. It's a Mazda.
Yeah, you're right. So BHR trying to track down the PBR.
Go get him, Hedian. Let's go. Let's bring it home for the fam.
Yeah.
Back in the pack, there's Morgan Duffy. Morgan Duffy just ahead of Owen Barthelms right now. Trent Walco back underway and now running in 13th place.
Yeah, I got to say.
There's Morgan Duffy right there.
There the pack is still really, really tight even after that massive incident in turn one on lap one. Morgan Duffy has made up 15 places, and if that doesn't deserve hard charger, I don't know what does.
You love to
Well,
see it. I mean, Jason Clare, big fan of the Bell helmet livery right there. Jason Little,
well,
you know, Jason's side hustle is Bell helmet. Bell helmets says he loves the Bell helmet brand, and he gotta love that livery.
well, I love Bell and I love Duffy, man. I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
like, the Irish, they don't fucking give up. They keep going. They keep
look
digging.
at Tim McChurch though. There's Tim
Dig,
McChurch jumping
let's
in
let's
this
let's let's go. Let's go,
three for
Duff.
Dale. Three
Do
for
it for
Dale.
Dale.
Duffy holding off Tim McChurch, and right there behind him is Alex Schneider in that black car with the yellow stripes. Lots of action back in the pack. Excellent camera work as always. Camera truck on fire tonight. Really doing a great job with these camera angles. And
Yeah,
just
man.
ahead of that, right behind, there's Zach Rosenberg back there in that blue and red car. And right behind him is Ron Trinka in the monster car. All of these members doing a great job putting in some really good laps.
Oh, looks like Owen Barthelms and Ron Trenka may have gone to the same paint guy for their paint scheme today.
Yeah,
And not really sure if they
absolutely.
expected to show up to the track and see the same car. Almost makes it a little confusing. You don't know if who's in front. Could be Owen, could be Ron.
Well,
I
you
think
guys
it's
know
Ron right now.
it's a team thing, right? Like, one's got the green, one's got the yellow. Here we go, bro.
Sure.
Let's go. Let's go. It's team orders. That's what it comes down
That's
to.
what I'm waiting on some team orders. I want to see. I think Ron's going to get the call to let Owen through here in just a minute.
Yeah, it looks like Owen is putting in some faster laps. So the fastest lap of a 2:10.39 compared to Ron's 2:11.20. So maybe some team orders here. We're gonna find out here in a second. Not really sure if Toto Wolff's gonna get on the radio here and speak in their ears and say, "Hey, give up this place. We need the points." But it looks like
We will
maybe not.
see. We are not quite halfway through this race number 2. Look at the crowd. The weather's fantastic today. No snow on the ground. It's nothing but green grass up in the Finger Lakes region. Damn near to Canada. And these guys are all wearing shorts out there. Look at this. Peter Bank tucking it up behind that Barthelms car. Paul Barthelms under extreme pressure from Peter Bank right now. Can he hold on?
I really thought that Peter Banks was more of like like a Corona kind of guy. Not like so much like a Pabst Blue. I
Ooh.
don't know. I just don't know if he, could run off the Duncan like that. But anyway, here we go.
Mm. Big little hands there, a little steering input error there. Paul. I think he got a mirror full of Peter there, and it kind of spooked him, pushed him really wide as he turned down into the lace area of the boot. And Peter Bank really took advantage of that. And now the BHR car is going to be right in Paul's mirrors here in just a second. Brian Heating turned in some really good laps.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was gonna say Brian Hedian is the fastest man on track right now with the fastest time of a 2:07.38, and that was on his last lap. So that means he's probably getting faster and faster by the lap. Now, will he be able to catch up to Nick Del Campo by the end of the race? That is still up in the air, but I don't know. It's looking mighty close. Jason, what do you think about this?
I think that Brian runs all night. Kind of like Duncan. Just they never they never shut down. Let's go, Hedian. Let's go. Keep pushing. Go grab that light and sweet.
Edian running in 4th place right now. He's one step off the podium. He's got to get around that Duncan car if he wants to stand on the podium at the end of this race. Paul Barthelms not going to give it up easy, though, as these guys head up through the S's now.
Yeah, let's take
that technique.
Let's take a quick look back at the mid-pack race, which seems as though it is absolutely wild. We have Ron Trenka, Morgan Duffy, Zachariah Rosenberg, Owen Barthelms, all in the mix. I gotta say, looks like was it Ron Trenka there was able to make up some good time. Owen Barthelms, slowly picking up those pieces as well. And it's quite interesting. It seems as though the blue and purple vibe is quite prominent in these Miatas.
Well,
Zach Rosenberg doing Zach
I'll tell you
Rosenberg
what.
turning some good laps here too.
If I were those guys in the back of the pack, man, I would really focus on trying to put something together. Single file, work off each other's draft. Kind of, back and forth. Open up the gap a little bit. Help each other out. Try to wheel the guys in the front of the pack.
Yeah,
They gotta work. They gotta work together as a team.
absolutely. I mean, this is a pretty big chain of cars, so hopefully they can sort of telepathically communicate to one another. Hey, let's not try to battle one another. We're just going to slow each other down. Let's try to keep everyone together. And as we say that, Owen Barthelme seems as though he's getting the door from, is that Brian Quealy?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, there was 3 cars, um, you know, aside. I don't know. I don't know why they were thinking that was the more advantageous way to get around the track. But you know what? They they're pros. Let them
Well,
have
I
at
tell
it.
you what, guys, I just heard we had a late race scratch that I didn't even know about until just now. That Bell helmet car not being piloted by Morgan Duffy. It was a late race change. In the pit, they inserted a ringer. Colin Duffy is driving that Bell helmet car. So, I mean, we were giving Morgan all the props for driving that car. And Morgan, being the gentleman, didn't want to take credit. It's actually Colin Duffy in the Bell helmet car, getting passed right now by Andrew Corp. And look at the
Oh no!
commentators curse, and I put
No!
as I'm
No!
talking about them, they both make contact, and Corpai is in the wall.
Did you
Well,
even
Colin
bother
Duffy
check?
through clean.
Did you even bother checking his driver's ID? I don't even know. Does this kid have
I
a
don't. Does
driver's
Colin
license?
Duffy even have a driver's license? I'm not
Who knows?
100%
Who
sure.
knows? All right, let's get this guy a lemonade. Let's go.
well,
Look at these two
unfortunately,
cars here. Look at the Barthelmes and look at these two cars, identical liveries here,
driving it very
racing
similarly
door to
too.
door in the bus stop. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're about to get doored here, so let's watch this race here for a second.
And through goes Manny Tartaglione, taking advantage of the little scratch through the bus stop.
That was a 2-for-1, boys. That was a 2-for-1. And he's checking out. Way to go. Good racing here, boys. This is good, clean stuff.
Looking good, Manny. You like to see those Tartagliones working hard in the race cars out there. It's good to have Manny back in this race tonight. There's Zach Rosenberg coming up out of the boot.
And Brian
And
Quealy
who is
applying
that
that
right
pressure.
there?
That's Brian Quealy
Brian
applying that
Quealy.
pressure.
BQ driving it in there against Zach Rosenberg, taking all that curb and making it stick using all the available pavement. Good move by Brian Quealy.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if Zachariah Rosenberg has given up quite yet. We'll take a look going into turn 1, but I think Zachariah Rosenberg has been putting in an absolute killer of a race so far. And obviously there was that big scrap, in this pack, but maybe now he's got his head on straight. After the craziness and the commotion has settled down, we might see some moves from everyone in the mid pack.
Well, Zach Rosenberg does have speedway hair. Anybody that knows him, he's got the Aquaman locks. So, I mean, his hair game definitely stronger than BQ. We'll see if that translates into lap times. I'm not sure. But Zach Rosenberg's locks are luxurious. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Also,
Let's see if it translates. Is it going to translate to lap times?
Yep, locks for laps here, guys. Locks for laps. It's worth it, per second. Here we go. This is
He's got a helmet,
full of hair. He's got a helmet full of hair. Here we go. Down the backstretch here, heading into the bus stop. Let's see who's all right. Here we go. Quick right, left, right, up on the curbing here as we make our way into the carousel. Somebody's up on the wheel. I see a little bit of correction here.
I gotta say, Brian Quealy is hooked up right now. That car seems so settled and calm and composed. And I mean, through that bus stop, he was driving away.
And now look, Rosenberg getting ready for a rainstorm.
Yep, I noticed the wipers on and the washer fluid going. I
It brings
don't
into
even know.
question, do you think
You
that that
know,
adds horsepower?
no, you know what? I'll tell you what. Like a lot of guys hit the blinkers on these cars to
Ooh.
kind of distract their, their competitors. So it could totally be like a wiper thing, a uh, left or right blinker, maybe throwing the hazards. You just never know. It's just
That's
keeping
Be
people
cute.
guessing.
Be cute.
Just
Quealy not taking the bait though. Not taking the bait. Quealy taking everything Rosenberg's got and then some and hanging on to the position. Let's see where we're at here on the clock. We are closing in. This race doesn't have a lot of time left. Let's check the standings. Let's go back to the front of the field. There's Peter Bank up there. We've got less than 5 minutes to go. Del Campo still out front with Peter Bank. Brian Hedian has gotten around Paul Barthelms and has now given Peter Bank all he can stand. This is going to be the race of the night, kids. Hedian versus Bank. There's Paul Barthelms in the Duncan car just lurking back there. You've got Del Campo out front. This is going to be a race to the finish. Peter Bank tucking it inside of Manny. Manny being a gentleman, getting out of the way of the leaders.
Yeah,
Peter Bank working the back markers.
Nick Del Campo 3.9 seconds up the road. It's not going to be the easiest thing to catch up to him by the end of the race. So I think Nick Del Campo may at this point be checked out and maybe just chilling up there up front. But this race for second is absolutely far from over. I'm pretty sure, Paul Barthelms, Brian Hedian, and Peter Bank all have an equal chance of taking the second place on that podium because they're all just incredibly talented drivers.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
very hungry at this, guys. This race ain't over for this position. We have to really think about being smooth here. Do not make a mistake at this point.
Paul Barthelms, a little hands crossed there, a little opposite lock as he put the left side wheels in the grass. And yeah, this is far from settled, friends. Far from settled.
And Trent Walko just getting a front row view of all of this, just taking it all in, having fun right behind, probably just, eating on some popcorn, sipping on some Coke, and it's like, wow, there's a whole lot going on here. It's like a movie.
Knowing Trent, he is not sitting back. He is pushing hard. He is pushing hard. Trent is a absolute monster behind the wheel of the car.
I'd agree with that.
Dude, you could throw a blanket over those guys. I'll tell you what that reminds me of? Seeing these four cars like this, it reminds me of Johnny Kaminsky and Brian Kaminsky and all the kids there, Massimo Risi, all the kids that graduated from the teen camp running in the number 4 class, R4 in our members racing. Look at those guys getting ready for the bus stop. If you have a youngster in your home that wants to get better at their racecraft, we have our teen race school, our teen race camps. Dates are open. Just check with your account executive and get your son or daughter involved in a teen race camp at Monticello Motor Club today. If you want to be fast like the Kaminsky kids. Now,
Gotta do it.
Peter
Gotta
Bank.
do it.
Peter Bank.
Gotta do it.
Paul Barthelms got back around Brian Hedian. Man, this is going to be exciting all the way to the flag. 2 minutes to go in this race. Probably white flag next time by.
This is what that MX5 Cup Series does, man. Puts on a great show. These guys are not leaving anything out. They're putting it all in. Good job, guys.
And Brian Quealy.
Meanwhile, here's Zach Rosenberg and Quealy still dicing it back here in the boot.
Yeah, I've been looking at the times for Brian Quealy and Zach Rosenberg, and they are constantly within 3 to 1/10 of one another. So definitely some intense racing happening here. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Brian Quealy on track for his best finish ever in the Monticello Esports League. Quealy definitely been putting in the work in the sim, and it is showing tonight. This is his best showing ever in the Esports League here at Monticello Motor Club. Let's see if he can hang on for one more lap.
Yep, he got some great coaching here from the Monticello instructors. Nice and smooth with the input as he's making his way into the last corner here. Right down to the yellow line. Picks up the power. Uses all the road on the exit as we make our way down the front straightaway.
It's interesting to see the different lines that each of the drivers are taking. Some of the drivers are definitely a little more open to taking a lot more of the track, while some other drivers are a little more calm and composed. I think with Watkins Glen, it's kind of up in the air with how much how much off the track you want to drive to possibly get, you know, a tenth here, a tenth there, and I think especially coming towards the end of this race, it may be advantageous for some of these drivers to just take the off track, and if you're nowhere close to a penalty, just go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you really want to free up the car as much as you can. As being momentum cars, you don't want to bind it up as much as you think. You want to unwind the wheel, free it up, let that power flow, um, and pick up the draft. I mean, that is monstrous for these cars. If you get caught up behind something slow, it's gonna kill your time. But you really want to free it up, unwind the hands, keep those RPMs up, and keep that power band up.
Look at
Absolutely.
this race right here for second place. It's PBR, then BHR, then the Duncan car, and Trent Walco bringing up the rear in the Bunkies car. This fight for second space on the podium is going to be epic. Coming around for the final time, checkers in hand. The crowd is on its feet for the final corner. Can Peter Bank hang on to it? Using every bit of the track, Peter Bank all over the place, holding off the. Oh man, what a finish!
That was
Wow.
extremely close. Is that seven? Is that hundredths? Brian Heady into Peter Bank.
Yeah, guys, that was remarkable as they came down the front straightaway. Goes to show the draft. It goes to show the racecraft. Well done to the guys. Obviously, they threw it away after the checker flag there, but with a hell of a race from these guys. Really proud of them.
Absolutely. And as we see here, Ron Trenka amongst the two monster cars, the first one to cross the line. Great race from him, 4 spots up from his starting position for this race. Behind him, Eric Paterno, up 5 spots from his starting position at this race. Also a phenomenal drive from him as we slowly but surely round out the rest of the drivers on track. Jason Cohen coming out of the boot with, it seems as though,
Cohen picking up 7 spots. I tell you what, a lot of these guys took advantage of that carnage on lap number 1 to really improve their position. I mean, Brian Quealy probably did anybody pick up more than 17 spots? Brian Quealy finishes in 7th place, keying off of Zach Rosenberg, who picked up 14 spots. Those two guys really came up through the field and took advantage.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
What a
Yeah,
great race.
yeah, Paterno and Quilly just really, you know, biting at the bit. Just keep grinding and making moves and you know never giving up. So applause to those guys.
absolutely. I mean, you gotta just take your hat off and applaud Brian Quigley for 17 spots up. I mean, that's just the hard charger right there. I genuinely cannot believe that number on my
Crazy.
screen. But I mean, look, a lot of these drivers, Brian Headian up 12 places, and I mean, borderline almost 13, racing against PB there at the end, but not able to take that top spot, unfortunately. So let's take a look at our results. Nick Del Campo taking 2 wins this evening. Were we expecting that, guys?
I absolutely was not expecting it. But I mean, Del Campo is a quality sim racer. There's no doubt about it. He's quality in real life as well as on the sim. But man, I mean, he got some good breaks too. I mean, he got some luck and he was able to capitalize. Some great driving in race 1 and really just set sail in race 2.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what. Like, Del Campo is the real deal. Kid's got it. He's a hustler behind the wheel of the car. Understands the Miatas. Understands the Glen. So I tip my cap to that guy, and way to go. And I hope that the rest of the field could buck up and try to keep up with him for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And taking a look further back on our podium, on the second step, Peter Bank by only 7 hundredths of a second. That was an absolutely insane ending. Not really sure why Peter started to weave that hard towards the end. Maybe just had a really bad exit coming back onto the front straight with Brian Heaton almost taking that second spot, but ending up in third. And Paul Barthelm's not too far behind either, only about 0.15 back on Brian. Sean
Yeah.
McAuliffe rounding out the top five, not too far back either, and right behind him, Jordan Klein taking the sixth position.
Yep. Top three members there: Paul Barthelm, Sean McAuliffe, Jordan Klein, finishing just ahead of Brian Quealy. Really good race out of all those guys. And also Zach Rosenberg. Great race out of all four of those members. And really, I think the feel good story of the night, Brian Heaton, third step on the podium. It was a good finish for him. We were just happy to see Brian finish the race clean. Good job. I know he's been working hard to get up on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, tell me about it.
Yeah.
As we were saying beforehand, Brian was constantly like, man, I want to really show what I'm capable of tonight. And that first race was not his place to show what he was capable of tonight. But the second race, able to find his footing and really just get into the flow of things. And I mean, P3, not a bad place to be, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, worked really hard throughout the race, and with Brian Quealy and pattern out and stuff like that, and those guys that really dug hard and were really putting the pieces together to make it happen for themselves. So really tip my cap to those guys, and hopefully next race these guys can maybe find that rhythm and find that groove to put them in a more favorable position.
Well, guys, that's it from here. Jason, thanks for sitting in the booth with us tonight, man. It was a really exciting race. We're happy to have you on the stream. I'm sure the crowd loved your insightful commentary. Dimitro, as always, man, with great job on the cameras tonight. Great. We appreciate you guys checking in on the live stream tonight. We appreciate all the members and instructors that participated in the race and everybody who watched the race. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Demetra, do you know our next race is coming from Oran Park in Australia? Is it next week or is it 2 weeks? I'm not sure what the date is on that next race.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head whether it is next week or the week after, but that should be an extremely exciting race. That is actually January 15th, so next week. So hopefully all these drivers are about to hop right back in the sim and get straight back to business with practicing. But it should be an extremely exciting race. Oran Park is a phenomenal track, and in GT4 cars will be quite a fun race to be had because given the fact that it's a little bit of an uncommon track, it'll be a lot of fresh eyes on the track, and we'll see a lot of drivers taking to the track for the first time on the 15th, in a competitive light.
Thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody, and we appreciate your support for the Monticello Esports League. We'll be back next week from Australia, and that's it from Watkins Glen. Thanks, everybody.